Today, we're cracking a code that's been hiding in plain sight, a really fundamental pattern that shapes how pretty much everyone on this planet talks to each other. Okay, so think about this. There are over 7,000 languages spoken in the world today. It's just a staggering number, right? And when you look at all that diversity, it's really easy to just think, wow, it's all just chaos. This beautiful but totally random collection of sounds and symbols. But what if it's not? What if there's actually a hidden system under all of that, a kind of basic logic to how languages are built? So to figure this out, we've got to go back a couple hundred years. Our story starts with two German scholars, the Schlegel brothers. You can kind of think of them as linguistic detectives. They were sifting through this huge global tapestry of languages, just looking for some kind of common thread. And guess what? They found one. But it wasn't in the words themselves. It was in their smallest, tiniest meaningful parts. What they realized was that the key to the whole thing was something called a morpheme. Now, what's a morpheme? It's the absolute smallest piece of a language that still has some meaning. It's like a single atom of meaning. And once they started studying how different languages handled these tiny little building blocks, well, that's when they uncovered a kind of secret architectural plan for language itself. Okay, so this discovery brings us to the first major design they found, and it's a cool one. Let's call these languages the shapeshifters. Why? Because in these languages, the words themselves literally bend and change their shape to get a grammatical point across. So in these languages, you don't always have to add a whole new word to change the meaning. The word itself just morphs. A noun can change to show it's plural, or a verb can change to show something already happened. All that information gets packed right into the word's DNA. And this shapeshifting, it happens in a couple of main ways. First, you've got what's called external inflection. That's when you just tack something onto the outside, like adding to tall to get taller, or ed to work to get worked. Simple enough. But then there's internal inflection, which is where the word changes from the inside out. Think about tooth becoming teeth, or man becoming men. See? It's the same basic idea, just two totally different ways of doing it. All right, let's move on to the second type of language. And this one has a completely different philosophy for how to build words. So if our first group were the shapeshifters, you can think of this next group as the Lego masters. In these agglutinative languages, you start with a root morpheme. That's your main Lego block. And from there, you just keep clicking on new pieces. Each little piece has its own specific job, its own specific meaning. It's a super clear, step-by-step way of building really complex ideas. Let's look at a perfect example from Turkish. You start with the word oda, which means room. Okay, that's our base Lego block. Now you click on lar, that makes it plural, so now we have rooms. Then click on im, and that makes it possessive, my rooms. And finally, you snap on don, and you get from my rooms. See how that works? Every single piece is a distinct Lego block with one single clear job, and they're all just snapped together. And this whole Lego block approach, it's not some weird, rare thing. No way. It's a major global strategy for building a language. You see it all over the place. In Europe, you've got Finnish and Hungarian. Over in Asia, you've got Japanese and Korean. And in Africa, languages like Swahili use this same system. It's incredibly widespread. Okay, so that brings us to our third and final category. We've had the shapeshifters, we've had the Lego builders. Well, this last group, they're more like jewelers, carefully arranging a beautiful string of pearls. So in these isolating languages, the words themselves are just like those individual pearls. They're unchanging. They don't change their shape, and you don't click other pieces onto them. Instead, all the grammatical meaning comes from two things. First, the precise order that the pearls are strung in. And second, the use of separate, totally independent helper words. Mandarin Chinese is the classic example here. The sequence of the words, the order of the pearls on the string, is absolutely critical. If you want to talk about tense, for instance, you don't change the verb at all. You just add another pearl to the string. You add a separate helper word, a particle, like one to show an action is happening right now, or another one to show it's already finished. Each word stays a completely distinct, isolated unit. So there you have it. Let's put these three threads together. You've got the shapeshifters, the Lego builders, and the string of pearls. This is that hidden order that the Schlegel brothers found all those years ago. And here it is. You can see it all laid out side by side. 3 fundamental blueprints for how to build a language. You've got inflectional languages like English, where words change their form. You've got agglutinative languages like Turkish that just add on distinct pieces. And you have isolating languages like Chinese that depend on super strict word order and helper words. It's this really elegant system hiding underneath what looks like total chaos. And that right there, that's the legacy of the Schlegel brothers. They gave us this powerful new way of looking at things, a new lens to see language not as just some random collection of words, but as a set of really sophisticated systems. Each one is solving the problem of communication in its own totally ingenious way. And their classification became absolutely foundational to the entire field of linguistics. So here's a thought for you. The next time you speak, or even just write an email, think about it for a second. What's your language doing? Are your words shape-shifting? Are you clicking together little Lego blocks of meaning? Or are you carefully arranging a string of pearls? Because once you see this pattern, I promise you can never unsee it.